Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I'm going to do a quick overview of what comes with the iGulu S1 home brewing system and a few of the accessories that you can get with it. And then we're going to start a brew and see how that whole process goes. So I got this one on the Kickstarter. This is the iGulu S1. So there is an F1 model, which is a little bit more expensive. It has some different features. The main difference between the two is the S1 does not have a compressor, so the cooling and heating system is slightly different. It doesn't have a built-in adapter for a CO2 canister, so you have to get that one separately. And then the screen is a little bit different. But other than that, for the most part, it should be pretty much the same thing. Inside the kit, you get a 1 gallon fermenting container here. It has everything you need with it. The cap with all the quick release things, the straw to be able to extract your lovely delicious beer, and then a locking mechanism to keep it sealed. Also in that are some O-rings and some adapters or some things to pry the lid off. I don't have it on here right now. And then you also get the instruction manual and some stickers and stuff like that. Also get a bar mat, which will go under your brewer when you're done. The handle is separate. The lid comes off easily to see everything. And that's pretty much what comes with the main unit here. A few of the extra things that you need to get if you want to use a CO2 canister, which will help keep your beer fresh longer. For the S1, you can get this CO2 adapter. Now, the advantage of this one over for the F1 is that this you can connect it to 3 units. So if you had 3 of these S1 brewers, you could connect one of these CO2 canisters to 3 of them. So it saves you on using the CO2 canister. So it just screws in the side here. And then there is a tube that comes with it that connects from one of these 3 ports to the back of the S1. And then there's a little button on the back that indicates whether or not you're using air or you're using CO2. Now you can use this whole thing with just air. It will work just fine, but they recommend that you drink the beer within 24 hours of it completing. Now with the CO2, they say that it will last or be fresh for about 30 days. So depends on how quickly you're drinking your beer. I personally will be utilizing this just to keep it fresh a little bit longer. 1 gallon is a few beers, but not enough for, it's a little too much for me to get through in one day. Now, one of the other accessories that you can get for both the F1 and S1 are these AT couplers. Now, this was included with my pledge on the Kickstarter. So this allows you to connect one of those like little mini kegs, like the Heineken ones, or there's other brands that are the same size as this. You can connect this to the top of that, and then this comes out through the spout. So if you're having a party or something like that, you have a bunch of those like little mini kegs kept in the fridge, and you can use this to dispense that once you're through with your delicious home brew. Another thing that you can get is if you want to take some of your beer on the go, there is the equal pressure filling bottles. So this is 2 bottles. They're both 1 liter roughly, and it allows you to transfer your beer from the gallon container into one of these so you can take it on the go. It does have an adapter to use a CO2 canister so that you can transfer it without having to use air or anything like that, and it will keep it fresh. This would be good as well if you only have one of these containers and it's not quite empty. You could always transfer it to these bottles, keep this in the fridge, rinse this out, clean it, and then start a new batch as well. Another thing that you can get, this was included with the pledge as well. This is an additional purchase. It's just the premium brew card or the Brewmaster card. So this unlocks the system to allow you to do custom recipes. So if you want to get into doing your own recipes, try different things, you definitely can, but you have to get this as well. And then lastly, what you need is these beer kits. Now they have different flavors or different styles on the website. I'm in Canada, so the price ranges between $25 to $35, $40, which isn't too bad. Considering like a case of beer is about $40 or $50. It depends on kind of like what you want. Now, some people might think that that's kind of expensive for a gallon of beer. This is about 5 to 6 pints maybe. So it might be on the little expensive end for some people, but I think there's a big difference when you're brewing your own. I mean, some things, yes, might be cheaper, but you're also kind of like getting the experience of making your own beer at home. Now, this is a lot easier than like if you were to use other systems where you're having to, make your own worts and cook things on the stove and whatnot. Everything is like pre-done for you. So I'm just going to show what's in one of these kits here. This one here is the Mosaic Pale Ale, and this is the one that we're going to try and we're going to make today. Now, on the back, actually, it shows a bunch of instructions, just pretty much the steps that you do with some of the details of what's in here. So, what you get in here So first we have a big bag of our dry malt extract. So this is going to be, you're going to pour this whole bag in there. That's your malt extract. We have our priming sugar. So this is cane sugar. So a pack of that. We have our yeast. So this is what's going to make the magic happen in there. These little guys are going to eat the sugar, make CO2, and you're going to have delicious beer afterwards. And then we have our hops and bitters extracts. Now these are so you don't have to make this yourself, which is really nice. So you just open these up, pour these into the bottle with your water, and then you set it. Now another thing that this comes with is an RFID tag on the side of the machine. Right in the G on the logo is an RFID reader. So with all of these kits, you can scan, once you put everything in here, you scan this RFID tag and the screen will show what you are going to brew, and then you just hit start and it goes. It'll tell you the duration, the temperature, all that stuff, and then you just let it do its thing for the duration of time. So one thing that you need to do before you start brewing is you need to clean and sanitize all this stuff. Now, I did get some sanitizer or some cleaning solution stuff for homebrew stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this stuff, I'm gonna wash it all, and then we're gonna get it ready to fill all the ingredients, and then we're gonna pop it in the iGulu S1 and start a brew. Okay, so I went ahead and I washed and cleaned the keg and everything with it, and then I used this one-step no rinse cleaner. This is designed for home brewing and stuff like that. So this is perfect because it's 1 tablespoon to a gallon of warm water. So you just put everything in there, put some warm water in there, put a tablespoon of this stuff in there, shake it all around, and then let it do its thing, and then empty it out and you're good to go. So like I said, we're going to do the Mosaic Pale Ale. So step 1 is prepare a clean iGulu keg and add room temperature purified water to 116 ounces as marked. So if we look on the keg here, there's 116 ounces. So we're gonna fill up to that. I have some water that I have got from my fridge here. Okay, and then next what we're going to do is we're going to add the malt extract and sugar and stir well. So this is your malt extract and then the priming sugar. So I'll do the sugar first. Now I've seen other videos where people have put this stuff in here and it's kind of dusty. So I'm gonna pour it in as slowly as possible just so that I don't get a whole ton of dust on here. I'll do my best. Okay. And so then we're just gonna mix it. It shows to use I'll just use this straw. Get that all mixed up. I don't know if like clumps are gonna be a big issue or anything like that, but we'll see. You can smell the malt and all that. So, okay, next we're gonna add the hop extract. So that's these three, the hops. One. Two. And 3. Okay, and then it says to stir well, so we're going to use this again, stir it up. And then lastly, it says sprinkle the dry yeast, then leave it unstirred. And then after that, we're going to seal the fermentation keg and place it into the iGulu machine. Properly connect the beer tube and the gas tube, then start the fermentation process using the RFID card or by operating the machine. Okay, seems easy enough. So we're going to put this in. This is the yeast. We're going to put this in and not stir it up. Now there is in the kit as well, there's an O-ring that you get. This is required because this is going to add the seal, because as this is fermenting, it's going to create a lot of pressure. So this keeps it sealed. So it does, you got to push it down and make sure that it's sealed properly all the way around. And then there's this little collar that goes around here, and it helps keep it sealed. So there is some movement here, but I'm sure as the fermentation process goes up and the pressure increases in the keg, then this will probably keep it nice and tight. Okay, and then we're gonna connect it to the keg now. Okay, so we're gonna use the handles for this and place it in the machine. Now there's two different connectors, so we have to connect this one to there, and we'll just click and say there, and then connect for the spout there. Now there is this little lock mechanism there. You want to keep that closed. Make sure that that's closed there, and then all we have to do is put the lid on, and we're good to go. So I'm going to place this over on the counter where it's going to live for the next few days, and then we'll start the brew process. So one thing I want to point out is on the very back of the machine, this is the button for the air mode or the CO2 mode. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the little tube that connects to this and then connects to the CO2 module. But during brewing, you want to make sure that it's in air mode, because if not, then you can lose the CO2 that's in your canister if it's left open. But when you are ready to dispense, you just press the button so that it is extended, so it's I guess depressed, and then that will be in CO2 mode. If it's pressed in, there's a little air pump in here that will activate, that helps increase the pressure in the keg to allow it to flow out of the dispenser. So I'm going to get that set up as well before I start the brew process. Okay, so I went ahead and connected the CO2 adapter to the back of the machine. It's turned off for now, but when this brew is completed, then I will turn it on. And this is all set up, so I'm going to turn it on, and I'll show you the menu real quick. So there is a mobile app that you can use to review settings and set custom parameters for this. So I've already set that up. That's what this little Wi-Fi symbol is on. So it's connected to Wi-Fi, so I can connect it to the app. The little diamond right beside it is the premium, like the Brewmaster unlocked mode. So that means that you can customize this for your own recipes. And then it says air, that means that this is using the air pump. Now if I do press the button on the back of the machine to enable CO2, the air label turns off, and that indicates that it's not using air. And then at the top here we have the up and down buttons here, so this will just let us change the settings or selection. And then the bottom here you have your check marks and back. So if we want to go into settings, we can set it to pair on your phone, change your language. If you want to change the units, you can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm in Canada, so I like things in Celsius, but then PSI, you can have MPA or bar. And then you can check if there's a firmware upgrade. You can check the about for it, and that's it. So this is all ready to brew. Our keg is in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the RFID for this pale ale. I'm going to place it right beside the machine on the iGulu logo, and we see here we have the Mosaic Pale Ale. So I'm going to select the check mark, and this tells us the duration of time. So we have 18 degrees Celsius for 1 day at 15 psi, then it'll be 20 degrees at 4 days, and then 22 degrees at 2 days, and then 3 degrees at 1 day and 3 degrees at 2 days. So about 9 days, 9 or 10 days for this whole process to complete. So we're going to hit the check mark. Now it says avoid CO2 during brewing. That's just a reminder. So we have the air on, the CO2 machine is off. So we're just going to hit the check mark, and now we're brewing. So this will show us the time left. So at the top here it says 10 days. We have the temperature, the current temperature, and the current pressure. So these will change as things are going on in here, and the machine will regulate the temperature, and it should regulate the pressure as well. And then these arrows on the left hand side, they don't do anything. They're just indicators because the F1 had a light that was down in this part here was just a light. This is just a piece of plastic highlight there. So this will change on the side here when it's brewing and when it's ready. I believe it should turn green. So I'm gonna let that go for the next 10 days and we'll come back and then we'll look at dispensing and see how this tastes. Okay, so it's been 10 days and our brew is complete. Now we know this because it tells us here with little green light on the display there. Now one thing it didn't actually do, it didn't give me an alarm or anything like that unless it happened over while I was sleeping. And there was nothing on the app that said that it was complete. All it went to was the set temperature and this light turned green. One thing that I did do once it finished was I pressed a little button on the back of the machine to turn off the air compressor and switched it over to the CO2 canister, and I turned on that CO2 canister. So what that will do is it will maintain a constant pressure in the little keg there as you're dispensing it, and it's gonna help it stay fresh a little bit longer. Now, full disclosure, I was away for about a week after this finished brewing, so this has had about a week and a bit to sit. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect the flavor. I've heard some people say online that after it's done brewing, if you let it sit a little bit for a week or so, flavors do improve a little bit. So we'll see kind of how that goes. As far as I can tell, everything was super easy to set up and do. One thing I did realize after when I was editing is that I did the steps incorrect or backwards on the instructions here. So you might have pointed that out or noticed that while we were doing it, but I did speak with support for iGulu and they said it doesn't really matter as long as everything's mixed up properly. So we'll find out. So let's pour a pint and see how that goes. Okay, so before you can dispense anything, you have to take the lid off, and there's this little lock here. We need to make sure that that is open. And then we can put the lid back on, and then we pour. Okay, so that poured rather nicely. I did notice that it did create a lot of bubbles and a lot of a fairly thick head. Now, it did dissipate fairly quickly for this one. It does smell very good. It smells, you get a little bit of that hops in there. What else is this supposed to have? I know that Mosaic Pale Ales are going to be like a little bit more flavorful, but it does smell like a craft beer there. It's nice and cold. This machine, it doesn't use a compressor, so my concern was that it wouldn't necessarily be able to maintain the temperature. But I mean, this is as far as I can tell, nice and cold, 3 degrees. So when I was filling this, the CO2 canister the machine automatically refilled the empty space with CO2. So it's maintained that pressure in there. So let's take a drink. Wow. That's really good. For something that is kind of, you just put all the ingredients in and let it do its own thing. That's very impressive. It's very, very clear, which I know some of the home brewing that I've done in the past, you get a little bit of that, the materials in the bottom there, and it's kind of murky or an unfiltered. But this is, I mean, if I were to be handed this at a bar or a pub, I wouldn't really know the difference that it was a homebrew or a craft beer. The flavor doesn't linger too much on your tongue, in your mouth, but it's very nice. It's very refreshing. Yeah, I really like this one, and I think it's been a pretty good big success for our first go for the iGulu S1. So there you have it. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pint, and we'll see you guys next time. Let me know if there's any other brew kits that you want me to try, and I would love to do another video and test those out and let you know how they are.